Thursday, 3 a.m. The boys and I have settled in for some late-night syndicated programming.
Who the hell are you talking to?
Dude, whatever you're taking, just stop.
It was at this point that I realized my colleagues had no idea what I was talking about.
Of course we don't. You're talking to yourself.
What do you mean by colleagues, anyway?
What my partners here haven't come to understand yet is that we're going to watch one of my favorite shows of all time.
Cut it out, or I'll beat you until you learn to stop.
Dum, da-dum, dum, dum.
That's it. You're dead! My liver!
Thursday, 3:01 a.m. The events of the past minute were confusing. Colleagues? Partners? Is this some sort of gay thing I wasn't aware of? Is it?
Don't you start!
My name is PJ. My associates are Davey and Chad. I'm a slacker. The show is Dragnet.
Dum, da-dum, dum. Ah!
All right, I'll chill with the voiceovers.
Thank whatever you find holy. What are we watching again?
Dragnet.
Oh, right. I love that movie. It's got Ray Stantz and the guy that played Forrest Gump. And, it's even got that tribal goat dance thing. Like,
Whoa, stop that, Sparky.
Thank you for playing Where Are They Now? We have some lovely parting gifts for you.
It's not the movie, it's the TV show. It's all the crime, none of the funny. What's the guy say about tonight's episode?
I don't know, I see. The Big Producer, a man pretending to be a man wearing a sinister-looking mustache, tries to sell illegal items to teenagers. Successfully.
makes sense. I'd buy anything when I was a kid in high school.
Even a used sandwich.
You know it.
The suspect proceeds to confuse Friday and Smith by taking them on a tour. Guest stars Marty Milner and Carolyn Jones.
Officer Malloy from Adam 12 and Morticia Adams. Yeah.
Give me a break. Let's just watch the thing.
Use the remote.
Get it yourself.
What, are you too lazy to carry the net?
Dragnet. Brought to you by Chesterfield.
The cigarettes Jesus
America's
smoked.
most popular two-way cigarette. Chesterfield King Size at the new low price.
$1.
And Chesterfield Regular.
Also $1.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is
false.
true. The names have been changed
Because we
to
couldn't
protect
afford the rights.
This is the city.
Hiroshima, 1945.
Los Angeles, California. I work here.
I'm a bad actor.
I'm a cop.
I also wash windows in my spare time.
It was Wednesday, November 4th. It was windy in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of Juvenile Division. My partner's Frank Smith.
Did somebody say Toll House Cookies?
My name's Friday.
This is my partner Saturday, and his son,
A steady supply
Sunday.
of obscene literature had been finding its way into half a dozen high schools in the city. We'd gotten a lead on one of the sources of supply, a 17-year-old high school senior. We had to check it out.
Phew! You ever
Hey,
wash
hey,
your
see
gym
yourself.
stuff, kid?
All right, you want to take everything out and lay it on the bench here?
You can see what's in there, can't you? My gym stuff, couple of textbooks.
What's that back there in the corner, right-hand side?
Where?
You know where I mean. Dig it out.
Why? Just a couple of joke books. A kid gave them to me.
Bring them out, Steve.
Okay. Just a couple of them. A kid gave them to me.
Garfield.
That's what you call a joke book, Steve.
Well, they were sold out of Mad.
Well, that's what the kids call them. They're not so bad, though.
They're rotten, Steve, and you know it. Now, where'd you get them?
I told you, a kid gave them to me.
Who? What's his name?
Some kid around school. I don't remember right now.
I'll remember
Gave him
later.
Books for nothing?
Sure, I had a couple he wanted. We traded off. A lot of the kids have them. We trade them around.
That stack you got there, they look pretty new. They couldn't have been passed around much.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Matter of fact, they look brand new to me. Don't even look like they've been opened yet.
How come you're roasting me on this thing? What about the other kids? They got them, too.
They're buying them, Steve. They're not selling them.
I'm not selling them. Anybody says that's a liar.
Now, both the fellas in the high school and the kids down the street in the junior high, they say you've been selling this stuff for months. Now, how about it?
They're lying, that's all. They don't know what they're talking about.
You've been selling these 35 cents a piece, 3 for $1.
What a
A
bargain!
couple of weeks you've been peddling pictures, $2 a piece. Any of them in your locker, Steve?
Couple. I got them off another kid.
What other kid? What's his name?
Ain't talking, see?
Come on, what's his name?
Some kid, I don't
Eric?
remember.
That's not much of an answer, son.
What do you want from me anyway? I told you I'm not selling the books. I don't care what those other goofs say. It's my word against theirs.
Maybe you ought to get this much straight, son. We're not out to get you. You're way down the line. We want the people at the top, the men who print this junk, the wholesalers, the big distributors.
So why ask me? I don't know anything about it. Nothing.
You don't want to cooperate, is that it?
What am I supposed to cooperate about? I'm not mixed up in anything.
We think you are, son. We know you are. Now, who you selling this for? Where do you get your supply?
All you see is what's in
PirateBay.org.
my locker. I ain't selling. I don't have any supply. You've got to go far to prove I have.
No, not very far, Steve.
What?
From about here to your home. 11:38 a.m. We picked up the supply of obscene books and photographs to be booked later as evidence.
After we picked out our own personal
For weeks,
favorites for
we've known that a steady
safekeeping.
stream of this type of material was being fed into half a dozen high schools and junior high schools.
Catcher in the
throughout
Rye.
city.
Filth.
Books,
The Chocolate War.
pictures,
Filth.
and pamphlets
Harry
of the worst
Potter.
kind.
Blasphemy.
12:15 p.m. Frank and I drove the suspect, Stephen Banner, to his home, approximately a mile from the high school.
We would have
On the
stopped
way,
to
he
get a
told us
warrant
he
first,
lived with
but
his
this is Los
sister and
Angeles.
brother-in-law. We checked the house thoroughly, but we found nothing. He explained that both his sister and brother-in-law were at work. We went back to check the garage at the rear of the house.
Rather sexy bike you got there,
Where the
kid.
stuff is now?
What's the use? I guess you'll find it anyway. Right there.
Behind those cases of Chesterfields.
Books, cases of them,
How dare he read?
pictures, filthy.
Why, that woman's wearing
About it, son? Your
slacks.
sister and brother-in-law know anything about this?
No, they don't know anything.
All right, you ready to tell us about it?
My sister gonna have to find out?
I don't know, Steve. It's going to be pretty hard to keep it from her.
Yeah, I guess so.
Who's the contact, son? Where'd they come from?
Well, Gary Coleman and I went to
Charlie
see the guy who owns the bike
One of the
store.
books, though, pictures came from another guy. It's a long story.
We got the time, son. Who's this Hopkins?
I met him downtown one Sunday. Penny Arcade on Broadway. Me and this other kid were in there, Bud Spencer. Hopkins came up, started to talk to us.
All right, go ahead, son.
He asked me and Bud if we wanted to sell for him around school.
This
He
friend
said
of
we
yours,
could win
Bud
great
Spencer,
prizes by
you
selling
sell them, too?
subscriptions
Yeah.
to Grit.
He goes to a different school, though. Well, both of us did pretty good with the books. Sold real fast. The pictures were even better.
That's so.
We just signed a
So you
national
didn't get the
distribution
pictures from
contract
Hopkins
before
or
you guys
somebody
showed
else?
up.
A man by the name of Jack. I don't know his last name. Hopkins put us on to him, gave us an introduction, set up the deal. We got the pictures for 75 cents. Most of the time they'd bring us $1.50 a piece. Bud and I did pretty good.
You know any other fellows working for this Hopkins? Any other kids in school, I mean?
No, just Bud and me. That's all I know. Wouldn't be so bad if it was just the books. That lousy Charlie had to go and promote the party routine, get everybody mixed up in that.
How do you mean? What's that all about?
Charlie
You know,
stays out of
clowns,
the place
magic
in
acts,
Sepulveda,
bar
the
mitzvahs.
motel. That's where we always contacted him.
Yeah.
After a couple of weeks, when we got to know him, he asked me and Bud out to this place. He said he was going to throw a party. Told us to bring our girlfriends along.
I told him I had a
That was the
boyfriend.
only
He
one
looked
the
at me
party.
strange.
Me and Bud and the girls and Charlie Hopkins. Well, the party lasted pretty late. I should have been smart enough to figure it out. I wasn't.
How old are your girlfriends, yours and Bud's?
17. They're both 17. They've been around, though. There's no use kidding you. They weren't very smart, I can tell you that. The oldest line in the world, and they still go for it.
Yeah, what's that?
Tell them you're going to get them in the movies.
1:20 p.m. Frank and I took the cases of obscene books and pictures from the
Back to
garage,
my place.
loaded them into the back seat of our car, and Stephen Banner directed us to the high school attended by his friend, Bud Spencer.
We then took the girlfriend of Bud
We picked up the
Spencer, got her
boys
loaded
and
in the
drove
back
him
of the
and
seat of the
Banner
car.
downtown to Juvenile Division, where we booked them in on 700B, Welfare and Institutions Code, lack of
Taking part in
supervision.
bad production of Grease.
We drove to the address out on
Meanwhile,
Sepulveda, but
Elliot
the
Ness and his
suspect,
gang of
Charles Hopkins,
untouchables
moved
were
out
fast
5
closing
days
in on the
before,
Banner
no
operation.
forwarding address. It wasn't a dead end, though. From his registration card, we got the description and license number of his car. We checked out the address of his confederate, the man known as Jack. He'd moved the same day as Hopkins. No forwarding address. We called DMV and got a make on the license number.
That's
The car was
Kaplan.
registered
K
in
as
Hopkins'
in
name,
night.
293
A
and a
as
half
in
North 92nd
aardvark.
Street.
P as...
Frank had gone over to R&I and pulled the package on the suspect. 3:40 p.m.
I think I figured out the
Last
secret to
address
this
on
show.
3 years
It's to
old.
see how fast you can possibly talk without showing any emotion.
Really? Let me try it. Now is the winter of our discontent make glorious summer by the son of York.
Cool. How about this? I'm the very model of a modern major general. I have information, vegetable, animal, and mineral.
I've got you both beat.
Oh, yeah?
Prove it.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Same picture
dude.
last time they got
We're
him
not
up in
worthy.
high school trade. Passed himself
Do that
off
again.
in the
I
studio.
dare you.
Dude,
The other
stay
man,
away
Jack,
from
you got
me.
there? Not yet. Did you get the information on them? The stats obviously going to make a run? They will. Okay, that's good. Well, I guess we better check on the kids' girlfriends, huh, and get their stories. Yeah, I suppose so. Sure gets me, Joe. What's that? A pair of young girls like that out at parties till 3 a.m. drinking.
Lindsay Lohan?
17-year-olds. No reason for it. No reason at all. I can think of one that might do.
It's called Catholic school.
Their parents. check of the suspect's address furnished us by DMV
Groucho
and
Marx?
also the information from the R&I package led us nowhere. We had a second interview with Stephen Banner and his friend Bud Spencer. We showed them Hopkins' mugshot, and both of them identified it. We got out a broadcast and an APB on him. 4:12 p.m. Together with policewoman Noreen Statesel, Frank and I
boarded a Greyhound bus and tried to escape this godforsaken city.
A Dorothy Ryan and a Laura Osborne. We stopped at the home of the Osborne girl first, but she wasn't there, and neither were her parents.
So we called some friends over for a bitch and
Her
kegger.
father were working, and that Laura was at a neighborhood school for models taking her weekly lesson.
When's the last time you saw Hopkins?
About 10
Morticia?
days. 2 weeks ago.
He called you lately?
Well, I don't know. Why are you looking for him? Can't you tell me?
Routine investigation, miss.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know where Charlie is. Why can't you tell me why you want him?
4:39 p.m. The Osborne girl was starting to piss me off.
This is one of the reasons, Laura. Would you look at this picture?
Thank you, Thing. Is that Miley Cyrus?
Charlie took this?
That's his business. That's the way his police record reads.
I can't believe it.
It's out of focus and poorly composed.
Now, that's one reason we want Hopkins. There's lots of others. You willing to help us now?
He said they'd be beautiful, glamorous. They're not.
You know where he stays now?
No, I'll find out, though.
How do you mean?
I got a date with him. Supposed to meet him out on Wilshire and La Brea.
When's that?
At the Tar Pits.
8 o'clock tomorrow night.
What a pair.
Stop talking about
What a
Morticia
box.
that way.
Chesterfield king size at the new low price. Chesterfield regular. And what a pair this is.
And what a pair of pairs this is.
My mom and Aunt Gladys?
It's easy to see why we picked them for Chesterfield's poster of the month.
They work
Let's
for
see what size
cigarettes.
Chesterfield Jean likes.
Actually, I like Newports.
I go for regulars. They're best for me because they have the taste and mildness I want.
I like
I
a good
agree with
cigarette
what
while
Jean
I
says
swim.
about Chesterfields, except for the size. I've smoked king-size Chesterfields ever since they came out.
Buy a carton at the new low price. Chesterfield king size. Chesterfield regular. They satisfy millions. They're best for
Because you deserve to die.
Ladies and gentlemen, this episode is brought to you by Chesterfield's King Size at the new low price. The brand Sergeant Joe Friday likes to smoke while solving that really tough case. Chesterfields have that smooth, non-filtered, non-menthol flavor that satisfies every inch of your respiratory system. And enough addictive chemicals to make you feel your teeth rattle in your mouth. Remember, Jesus smoked Chesterfield. So why aren't you? Buy a carton at the new low price. Chesterfields, our Lord and Savior, can't be wrong.
6:83 p.m. The cameraman plummeted to his death from the 7th floor.
Meanwhile, at the Hall
Following
of
morning,
Justice.
Frank and I went across the street to the district attorney's office and presented our case. A warrant was issued on Charles Hopkins for 702 WIC, contributing to the delinquency of a minor. At 7:45 that night, Frank and I staked out on a cocktail lounge near the intersection of Wilshire and La Brea.
And got completely
the
ripped.
suspect had told Laura Osborne to meet him. 8:15, 8:30.
Wait, is it 8:15 or 8:30?
That's a fast 15 minutes even in TV time.
Could be him. Yeah, dark glasses.
I recognize that newspaper from the mugshot.
Yeah, that's him. Come on.
Wait, is the driver's side door jammed?
It's Stan Lee!
How's that?
Police officers, your name Hopkins?
No, that's not my name.
Can we see your identification, please?
Sure, I have my identification. Why?
Can we see it, please?
What do you want?
Your identification.
What for? I haven't done anything.
All right, mister, we'll talk about it downtown.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't want any trouble. I'll show you. There. See? My driver's license.
Take it out of your wallet, will you, please?
Certainly.
Charles Hopkins. That's an old address, isn't it?
Yeah?
It's Dr.
I've had time to
Pauly.
change it. Just got back in town. What's the matter, anyway?
Where you staying, Hopkins?
No place. I just got back in town. I told you that. Not staying any place. No connections at all.
Where's your car?
Don't have one. Haven't
No
had
one give
for
me
a
one
year.
with this
Sold it.
mustache.
Say, would you mind filling me in? What do you want with me, anyway?
All right, Hopkins. Let's go over here out of the way for a minute.
Okay. Just want to know what's going on, that's all.
I call shotgun! Shotgun!
Wait, what is it with these people in the driver's side door?
Wait,
Like
who's
to, check your
driving?
Pockets. Take everything out.
What is it, a shakedown?
You start with your wallet.
Wait, let me get it. It's behind these nudie pictures.
Yeah, okay.
You said you don't have a car, is that right, Hopkins?
No, of course not. I told you that.
And what are you doing with this parking ticket?
I like to steal other people's tickets, then never pay them, and they lose their license.
8:55 p.m. Frank and I finally located Hopkins'
Why does he have
car
a
in
bra in
parking
his
lot
glove
2 blocks
box?
away from
He
the
needed
point
to
where
leave
we
as much
apprehended him.
incriminating
In
evidence in
glove
the car as
compartment of the car,
possible.
besides a half a dozen photographs and small books, we found a key with a metal disc attached. Stamped on the disc with
Maybe
the
these
words,
strange
West Side
markings on it
Studios,
are a clue
number
to its
23.
identity.
Hopkins refused to identify.
I've never even
He
heard of a
refused to admit
key.
thing. He was booked into the county jail on the contributing warrant. The next afternoon at 5:30 p.m., we drove out to the old West Side Studios just off Jefferson Boulevard. On the way, we tried to again question the suspect, but we got nowhere. One look at the old West Side Studios, and you knew right away it had seen better days. The place had been fairly prominent back in the early days of silent pictures, but all that was left now was 3 square miles of broken-down scenery.
It's the Manson family ranch.
The faded sign over the main gate read West Side Studios, founded 1920, admission by pass only. Hopkins unlocked the gate and we drove onto the lot. The place was deserted. The sun had almost gone down. It was a cold wind from the north.
No, Toonses, look out for the cliff!
This is my favorite view of the city.
Wait, now the other door doesn't work?
We can go on
Is everyone in
foot
this show
there.
too
Come on,
lazy to
this way.
pull a door handle?
And that's Roman Polanski's house.
Okay,
You
I'm
got an
not gonna
officer
lie,
there?
I'm lost.
No, sir, I do not. I live here.
You in some kind of movie work?
Have been for 30 years. More than 30 years.
That so? You an actor?
Better one than you, buddy.
Hopkins. Haven't you ever heard the name?
My brother
I'm a
John's and I
producer.
started at university.
Oh, I see.
Why didn't you tell us that to start with?
Oh, I don't know. Different reasons. I didn't want to throw my weight around. I have a lot of connections in Hollywood, you know.
That's so.
In the trade 30 years. I was one of the first. You can make a lot of friends in 30 years.
How about the books and pictures we found in your car? How do you explain it?
Come on over here. I'll show you boys something you never saw in your life before.
A nude girl.
And this is where I keep my statues of dogs.
Dogs eating people?
This studio
That's how they dispose of the dead hookers.
$1,000 on it. This whole block here, sound stages. I got plans for him in my desk.
That's so. You have an interest in this lot, do you?
You can tell it's hot.
Not
His
right
mustache
now,
is
anyway.
wilting.
I did have an interest, though. I will again. I was one of the original owners, you know.
Is that right?
Me and 5 other men. We were
Then
the
I
top
killed
people
them,
in
fed them to
Hollywood.
the dogs,
West
and made
Side.
statues
I
about
was a
it.
young fellow at the time. We made pictures, mister. Great pictures. Not like today. It's changed. It's all gone now.
What have you been doing lately, Hopkins? I mean, what do you do for a living?
Smut,
Different things.
Photographs,
Few investments,
bras,
private
prostitution,
income.
Cable television.
Money with
dog
West Side.
sculptures.
That's when the town was really turning out pictures. I made big money.
What are you doing today?
I told you. Different things.
Come on, guys. Tippy Hedron's over here.
Crows. We have a lot of them out here. They like to nest in those eucalyptus trees over there.
They also like to eat dead hookers.
What's with you and the dead hookers?
I don't think we want to know.
Now, look, we still haven't got an explanation. How about the books and pictures that we found in your car?
Oh, that. Nothing to explain, is there? Just a few gimmicks I picked up.
You know a boy by the name of Steve Banner?
I know a Bruce Banner.
No, I don't think so, huh?
How about Bud Spencer? You know him?
No, I knew a George Spencer once. Actor. That was back in the old days, though.
How about Laura Osborne, Dorothy Ryan? Do you know them?
No, but I know a Dorothy Osborne and a Laura
Over the
Lyon.
years, in this business especially, you meet an awful lot of people.
Yeah, well, these are fairly recent. You ought to remember them. They're just kids. 17-year-olds.
No, I'm afraid I can't recall the names. You know, we might go into television here. I don't know. Television films. Trouble is, they make them too fast. Trade's not like it used to be. Quality, that's what we went after. It's all gone now.
This television thing, it's just a fad.
West Side will do it again, though. You can bet on that. We're coming back.
How about leveling, Hopkins? You know why we picked you up. You know why we're out here.
That's just it. I don't know. This way.
5:97 p.m. We wandered further into this madman's imagination.
Monday, January 16th, we followed Hopkins on foot all the way to New Mexico.
And that over there is the Hoover Dam.
How about it, officer? You remember this one?
Don't believe I do.
Well, no offense. You were in knee pants when I shot my westerns here. Great stories. One of them was the greatest of all. Is that
You
right?
shot the Bible?
Greatest of them all. Thunder on the Trail. That's what we called it. We shot the big scene for it right on this street. That was almost 30 years ago. Doesn't seem that long, just like yesterday.
Yeah?
Conway Blackburn was my director for that one. Big Clyde Harrison was the star. Always called him Big Clyde.
He's the one that got me into porn.
Strong, but he had arms like steel. You know, that man could lift an engine right out of an automobile with his two hands.
That's why it was a mistake casting him in a Western.
He died trying to lift a V8 out of his horse.
I'd like the wind, old Clyde. Never looked better in his life than he did that day. I was there. I know.
Is that right?
Thunder on the trail. Shot the final big scene right on this street. Great thrill, officers. One of those things that happens once in a lifetime. Never forget it. Now, this here was the town. See what I mean? Frontier settlement. Rough as they come. It's where the Kelsey gang was hanging out. Real bunch of killers. Just in the picture, I mean.
Uh-huh.
And single-handed, Big Clyde came into town to take on the leader.
Beat him in a game of hopscotch. It was beautiful.
He killed Clyde's brother, and Clyde was out for revenge. He should have been here to see it. It was Saturday night.
He
rode a blazing saddle.
They were betting 10 to 1 that Clyde would never make it. And right across the street, there in the Silver Dollar, Kelsey's gang was setting up drinks on the house. They felt that sure of themselves. The town was swarming with people.
Too bad they were all invisible.
I was standing right there with Connie, the director.
I see.
Yes, sir. There it was, all ready to go. 1,000 extras. It was all set. The big scene. All right, everybody.
What's happening here? Is this mustache picking up old-time
Face it,
radio?
everybody.
He's done enough acid to imagine this entire set of people.
And to imagine it for everyone else, too.
Action!
It's Fear and Loathing in Dragnet.
All right,
We
Clyde.
can't shoot here. This is backcountry.
There he came, riding into town. Big Clyde. Way up from the end of the street.
And it's
Came
crack
right
whore
straight
moving
through
up on the
town.
outside. Crack
Past
whore on the
telegraph
inside now.
office,
Crack
past
whore
the
by a
general
length, and
store,
the winner
riding
is...
straight toward the Silver Dollar.
Feedleball.
A little slower. That's it. Now head straight for us. Right up to the hitching post there. Good boy, Clyde.
Good boy.
Now he
Chocolate
dismounts.
biscuit?
Tethers his horse, Golden Fury. Now he turns, looks around him, and he starts straight for the swinging doors. Look grim, Clyde. That's it. A little more.
What is he looking at?
Set your
He
jaw.
must have little televisions in his glasses.
Now, right through the doors. Hit him hard. There he goes. The whole Kelsey gang in there ready to kill him. There's no reaction for a few seconds. And all of a sudden it gets quiet.
What the hell is going on here?
Dead quiet. Tim Kelsey looks up from the bar. He sees Clyde. All right, now. Throw that lamp. Smash it!
Oh, wait, it just turned into an invisible snuff film.
They must have
No holds
spent a
barred.
bundle on
One
special
end of the
effects.
room to the other.
Boy, this
Finally,
man's
they crash
hallucinations
through the
sure
doors
are
to the other.
loud.
Tim Kelsey, Clyde, wrestling, slugging, kicking, punching each other. Kelsey goes down. Then Clyde. Then Kelsey. Clyde goes down.
Miss Lucy goes down.
Clyde drops his pants and reaches for his weapon.
And so is born a career in
Look out,
smut.
Clyde. Fires twice. 3 times. Right into the shoulder.
Then everyone starts throwing water balloons.
Meanwhile, over the hills comes the invisible 7th Cavalry.
But up in the sky, the invisible Luftwaffe has arrived.
Dead. The other man staggers a little bit, doubles up, crumples, falls down the stairs into the dirt. Clyde starts to get up. One of the gang in the saloon takes a beat on him. Clyde whirls and fires. Good boy, Clyde. Good.
Meanwhile, Blinky,
Slowly.
Inky, and Pinky have been
Over your
sneaking
heart.
up behind Clyde.
Slowly. That's it. Put your arm around his neck. He nuzzles you a little. Now back in the saddle. Slow. Deliberate. You're wounded. It hurts, Clyde.
Now invisibly bleed to death.
Now you turn. Look off down the street. You start to soften. You see the school marm.
She's
glasses.
invisibly topless.
I've got to say, that's a lot of prescript to get to the sex
Warmer.
scene.
Now show her why you're called Big Clyde.
Now you go to her, boy. Go to her. Now, pick her up and put her on Golden Fury with you. That's it. There he goes.
Get a golden shower by Golden Fury later.
Beautiful. The two of them riding toward the hills. Riding off together.
Blip, blip, blip. That's all, folks.
Cut it. Print it.
Mein Führer, I've gone blind.
Just the way it was.
Even his mustache is crying.
I stood here and saw it. They don't make pictures like that anymore.
No, they make them with people now.
How about it, Hopkins? You want to tell us now?
What is there to tell?
You've been working the school trade, haven't you? Books, pictures, hiring kids like Steve Banner, Bud Spencer.
Yeah. I'm ashamed. Who wouldn't be? I had to eat. It was the only way. I had to live.
Yeah, well, there's still honest jobs to be had. No way of telling how many youngsters you hurt by spreading that junk around. No way of adding up the trouble you caused.
Yes, I know I was wrong. I'm sorry for that.
How about this man named Jack? What was his part?
He used to be my cameraman back in the old days. Same thing. You can't blame him either. He had to live, too.
All right. You ready to go?
Yes. Kind of a long walk. Would you like to read the trade papers on the way?
Yesterday's.
Is all you read smut?
Cheap bastard.
Square root -1 p.m. We added a 705, littering, to his charges.
I think this is going to be the start of a beautiful friendship. Play it again, Sam. Cut it! Print it!
On January 29th, trial was held in Division 87, Municipal Court, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
But first, a bit of fun. Woo!
Occupant, phone bill, Publishers Clearinghouse.
Road maps, reservations, travel folders.
Porn.
There's lots to remember when you're planning a weekend or a vacation trip. Now, remembering Chesterfields is easy for me, and I hope it is for you, too. You can't beat them for taste and mildness. A really refreshing smoke every time. Take along plenty, will you? Regular or king-size Chesterfields. They satisfy.
Unlike your wife.
This is the studio, Warner Brothers, Burbank, California. This is the writer.
The only
Academy
writer.
Award winner, Richard Breen. And this is the case file, DR number 709253. And it takes an hour and a half to tell
because
it.
Our editors
completed
suck.
Our first feature-length Dragnet film in color and widescreen. We hope you'll go to your local theater and see it, and we hope you'll like it.
Salvador Dali was convicted on 53 counts of surrealism.
The suspect was tried and convicted of violation of Section 311 of the California Penal Code, manufacturing and distributing obscene literature. His accomplice, Jack Lavery, was apprehended and tried and convicted of the same charges. Violation of Section 311 PC is punishable by imprisonment in the county jail for a period not to exceed 6 months, or by a fine of $500, or both.
6 months or less? For smut?
Seaman, what kind of middle name is that? The names have been changed to be ridiculous.
Dragnet, brought to you by porn, because you deserve a bang today.
Skull!
Dum 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 dum. Chad was convicted of assault and battery against Davey, who was sentenced to 2 weeks on the couch with PJ. PJ was found guilty of shoplifting a dumb-looking hat from the Salvation Army. He was sentenced to 2 weeks being beaten up by his couchmate, Chad.
NBC Television.